Huh. I thought I just someone commenting. Huh? Yeah, no. Well, so I found out something recently that's kind of interesting. My grandpa always used to use this phrase, give her the time. Like he would see a pretty girl and he'd say, I'd sure like to give her the time. And I didn't know what that meant. Then I just read this book called The Catcher in the Rye. And in that book, he uses that phrase, and it turns out give her the time means, you know, bang her. I gotta keep this PG, this little girl back there. But I kind of like that old school slang where it doesn't hint directly at what it means, you know? So I've been kind of taking that lead and making a little old school slang my own. For example, if I've been, you know, jerking off or something, I don't call it that. I call it taking care of paperwork. So that's just so anybody graduate recently? No? So everyone's either still in school or decided not to go like me. It's not really my cup of tea, the whole college. I just kind of read what I want to read. And I did spend a couple of months studying abroad in Europe last summer, and I know most people don't use the term broad anymore. It's kind of old school, but she was an old school girl, you know. And I know studying isn't the technical term; they call it stalking. But I'm a little more romantic. Anyway, I was studying this broad in Europe, and then she kind of caught on to it, so I had to come back here and get back to this stuff. So now I'm just working. I did come into some money recently because I couldn't find a tissue and I didn't want to ruin a sock. And, you know, gotta take care of paperwork. I don't have that much new stuff today, so I'm just gonna do a couple more jokes. Guys, you ever have your balls get stuck to your taint and it's like really annoying, but then it feels good to like take it off there, you know what I mean? I don't have a joke for that yet. I just want to make sure that's like a common experience and it's not just me. Okay, good. I'll write something about it. So I was listening to this song by Kid Cudi recently, and it was a pretty good song. I don't know what it's called, but half the song he's rapping, half the song he's singing. But the part that he's rapping, he wasn't rhyming. He's just saying a line, then he's saying another line, and it seems like cheating to me, you know? A rapper that doesn't rhyme. It's like if I wrote a joke that didn't have a punchline, or like if I built a house and then didn't have a punchline. Okay, nobody got that. Let's see. Got to go into new stuff. These are all the hits. So you guys I was at work recently, and one of those sort of sexually ambiguous people came in, you know, the kind of people you can't tell like if they've got a penis or vagina unless they take their pants off. You're like, what is that? You know what I mean? It's like, you're kind of like either on your way to being, you know, they're like right in the middle. And so they walked up and I was like trying to steer my way out of that sir or ma'am debacle. I'm like, I don't want to say one or the other, but I accidentally called it dude. And let me just say, first of all, they're the only people you can call it, besides like fetuses and the guy who wrote that book, Child Called It. It's him, fetuses, and these sexually ambiguous people. Anyway, I called it dude, and she got all offended. She's like, I'm a woman. And I was like, okay, but you don't have the right to get offended, because it's like, first of all, I'm not the first person to make that mistake ever. You know that this happens. And secondly, if you know you look like that, give some hints, you know? Like, wear a bow in your hair, or like put on a pink t-shirt, or like make the first thing you talk about to me like your vagina or something, you know? Let me know what's down there, because I don't know. Now I'm just gonna be an asshole. It's like when you see a woman who looks like she's pregnant, but it just turns out that God decided to allocate all her fat to the front, and it's like she has that unfortunate shape, and you have to like, oh, when do you do? What do I do for what? For your next dental checkup. Well, guys, that was my new thing I'm working on, so I think I'm gonna kick it out early here, give it back to Dan, but
no, I didn't hear you. Keep going.
He didn't hear me. Well, then he won't get this last thing, but I've got to go because I have a hankering to take care of some paperwork. So thanks for listening to my jokes. Bye.